Hello, welcome to Quarter Twins, the podcast with one guy sometimes, this guy today, the other guy will be here two sometimes. There's two of us, Quarter Twins. First of all, before we go into Alien Romulus, if you haven't seen any Alien movies before, well, we have the video for you. It's called Everything You Need to Know Before You See Alien Romulus. So, go check out that video. It's a longer video where I talk about all the Alien movies and tell you everything you need to know before seeing this movie. Like, comment, and subscribe, because that's important too. So I just saw Alien Romulus for the second time, and this is going to be releasing on Friday, so it's been a week since Alien Romulus has been out to the public. And it has spurred much discussion amongst Alien fans and film fans in general. I'm here to talk to you about it. I'm not going to spoil anything in this video. I'm going to try not to spoil anything in this video because I might on accident. But I'm going to try not to because my goal for this video is to encourage you. If you're watching this video and you haven't seen Alien Romulus, you're probably in one of two camps. Either you've never seen an Alien movie before, and so you weren't planning on seeing Alien Romulus, or you've seen the Alien movies, you like the Alien movies, and you just haven't gone yet because the reviews have been kind of 50-50. You've heard some things about the movie that weren't super encouraging. You've seen popular movie reviewers talk about it, and they've said things like it's lifeless, it's formulaic, and I heard those things too. And after I saw Romulus for the first time, I was discouraged, not necessarily because of the movie itself, but because after I saw it and I liked it a lot, I read a lot of reviews, and it was discouraging to read. A majority of the people that I, listen to and read on a regular basis just didn't vibe with the movie and really were dragging it for certain things that I think are not necessarily fair criticisms of the movie. However, there are plenty of fair criticisms of this movie. So again, the goal here is to get you to a place where you can go into this movie. I want you to see it in the theater, and I want you to go in with healthy expectations. So yes, I went into this movie with very high expectations. I was very excited for this movie. I heard Fede Alvarez was directing. I hadn't heard his name before, but as I heard more about him and have seen parts of his other work, I thought this guy is a really good choice for making an Alien movie. I love pretty much all of the Alien movies. Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love aspects of Aliens. I love aspects of Alien 3. I love aspects of Alien Resurrection. I like a lot of what Ridley Scott tried to do in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I was just really excited for a new director, a new entry into the Alien anthology. The criticism that this movie is formulaic, or you'll see a lot of people say that this is the Force Awakens of the Alien franchise. And while there's some fair reasons why people give that argument, there is a lot of panning through hallways and camera lingering on something and people being like, remember this thing from that other movie? Remember this line from that other movie? All the legends are true. It is very similar to The Force Awakens in its reverence and reference to things that have come before. But specifically with the content of the plot, I've seen people complain about how it is just Alien again. My defense for that is the Alien anthology has followed a very specific formula since day one with this movie. Every Alien movie in the Ridley Scott, James Cameron timeline has started with our main characters waking up in a place. They assemble a crew. They run across some aliens. They try to kill the aliens, and it probably ends with shooting it into space. Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant all follow this formula to a certain degree. They take the formula, they operate within the formula, and create variations of different things to create a compelling story. So yes, some of those things happen in this movie. but not as much as you would think. This movie doesn't actually open like a lot of the other Alien movies. So I found it fascinating that was something people were fixating on, when that was never an expectation of mine, that it was going to be some grand move away from the established formula. I thought it was very clear that we were going to be seeing similar things in this movie with a different cast, crew, structure, whatever. It also moves very quickly, and certain things like in Alien, the time period between getting to the facehugger doing its thing, alien popping out of chest, takes quite a while. In this movie, it happens very, very quickly. And so I think there's a lot of things like that where it feels like we're rushing through the formula, which is a fair criticism as well. But overall, I think just if you're worried about this movie being too similar to other movies, I think this movie has plenty to offer, and it shows you plenty of things that you haven't seen before, and plenty of new variations on things that have come before. And a lot of it is very exciting, and I liked a lot of it very much. This movie has a very make it or break it third act, where things start going kind of crazy, and it can either... For me, the third act solidified this as a movie that's going to show up in my top 10 this year. I was feeling like, okay, Fede Alvarez, we need to take a swing. If we're going to wrap this movie up, we need to take a swing, and boy, takes a swing, and it really worked for me. I think it didn't work for a lot of people, but the swing they take, it's very good. Very upsetting. The main issue with this movie that I and probably pretty much everyone who's seen this movie have, this is going to be slight, very, very light spoilers. I'm going to allude to the thing that happens, but I'm not going to give you I don't think I'm going to give you enough details for you to figure it out. It's still going to be a surprise if you see it, and it's not necessarily a good surprise. So they use visual effects to bring a certain character back to the story. And as far the things that I've read about it, they took the necessary precautions with the real world implications of this thing. So I really don't think there's any real moral objection with it, with what they do, even though that was part of the main critique of this decision, kind of the moral implications. I think they did this in a ethical way. However, it does not look good, and it is very distracting. And there really is no reason for this individual to enter this story. And it's even more frustrating because this individual contributes to the plot in a very significant way, and the thing that this individual contributes is very closely linked to a different character within this story, that if they would have used this other character, individual, it would have been not only an amazing reveal, but much less distracting, because they wouldn't have had to use visual effects to make that happen. And it would have made more sense with the story, and the thing that they actually do just is extremely distracting. However, I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, and I think you can watch this movie without having this thing ruin the entire experience for you. So if you were worried about this thing, and if you know what I'm talking about, if you're worried about it, I think, listen, it is distracting, but I think you can get through it, and the movie, as it stands, has bigger problems. The pacing and the level of exposition that is relayed through this character, a lot of the contributing factors are the real problem, and this is just the facade that is it's just very distracting for maybe 10 minutes of this 2-hour movie. My other main disappointment with the movie is because we have kind of a smaller crew, the fate of these individual crewmates, we see what happens to a lot of them in the trailer. So none of the characters' deaths surprised me. I kind of knew who was going to die. I kind of knew the order in which they were going to die. In hindsight, I wish more of that was kept to the movie watching experience. Other than that, like, I really love this movie. Our main characters, Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson, are incredible. I was going into this movie very excited for Kaylee Spaney's performance. I had no idea who David Johnson was, or that he was going to be kind of the secondary main character. He kind of carries this movie. His performance is so good. He essentially takes on two roles at a certain point, and the way that he just seamlessly delivers his dialogue in such a real way, and his body language and his eyes and his line delivery is all just amazing stuff. And pairing that with Kaylee Spaney taking over the kind of final girl role, she's just fantastic at it. Her performance is very kind of reserved, much like Sigourney Weaver was in Alien, and she definitely delivers in the third act when she is the final girl. So both of them carry this movie enough to make it worth watching, especially David Johnson playing Andy. His character, the backstory of his character, we've seen characters like him before, but we haven't seen them quite like Andy. And there are new ideas brought up with him. The alien, right? The alien. The practical effects work is also like worth the price of admission. The facehuggers, the xenomorphs, they had practical effects blended, I think, very well with CG effects. We meet the xenomorph, the facehuggers, very early, and the xenomorph quite quickly after that. And again, like, you're going to see a xenomorph, you're going to see a facehugger. That's part of the formula, but they do things within the formula that you haven't seen before. You see facehuggers do things you haven't seen them do before. You see xenomorphs do things you haven't seen them do before. And there's so much that we haven't seen before, especially in the third act. Even in the third act, you've seen a variation of it before because it's an Alien movie. But it does it in its own unique way that it's just a really fun experience to watch it unfold. The direction, set design, everything, the sound design even, is top-notch. The experience of watching this movie in the theater is very important. In IMAX, if you can, in the expanded 1.9 aspect ratio. It has action, it has heart, it has aliens. It has everything you need to make a good Alien movie. I think it definitely does take a few steps too far in terms of fan service, and I think it moves through things a little bit too quickly. This movie's only 2 hours long. We could have used 10, 15, 20 more minutes of the first act. The first act is really good when they are on the planet that they're on, and I wish we would have been able to spend more time with our characters on that planet before leaving and the rest of the plot happened, because we really don't know much about the other characters, which again isn't necessarily surprising. That's been a staple of these Alien movies as well. We never really know that much about the characters except maybe in Prometheus. But yeah, this was a really exciting movie to watch. It's just as fun as I wanted it to be. There's enough action, there's enough horror, there's enough upsetting visuals, there's enough chemistry between the cast, the score, the direction, sound design, set design. It's crafted very, very well, and I think it would be a major bummer if we never get any more Alien movies. I think it's just so fun watching a movie that's so clearly made by a director who loves this franchise and loves the work that came before him, and he cares so much for this world, and you can tell through every aspect of the film. I think, again, like, I'm not saying this is a perfect movie. I think we need to normalize being in the middle. I think we need to normalize having criticisms of the movie without discrediting the work that was put into it, and how important it is to support movies like this. Yeah, so I hope you do see it. I hope we get more Alien movies. If it really is the Force Awakens of Alien, that means if they make another one, we could be getting The Last Jedi of Alien, which might just be what we need. I know we can all agree that The Last Jedi is what Star Wars needed to move away from the formula. I know we can all agree that this movie is really what we should be talking about. I hope you made it through this whole video, and maybe if you turned it off and left a dislike and an angry comment because of that, more power to you. We'll be all right. But yeah, I don't know. I've never done this before. I've never just reviewed a movie in front of a camera before without Joshua. So I feel like I talked negatively about it. I think I talked positively about it. And my goal was go to the theater and see it and decide for yourself. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid to have your own opinion. It is so hard to see reviews come out for a movie, going to see the movie for yourself. It's so hard to get those reviews out of your mind and come up with your own opinion, especially if you are in the minority. And I'm not even saying if you didn't like this movie, you're wrong. I think if you don't like this movie for the reasons I laid out, I understand that. I think it's totally fair. I found what I needed to in it. There were things that disappointed me about it. But there were a lot of things that delivered on what I was expecting and went above and beyond what I was expecting. So overall, go see Alien Romulus. Again, if you haven't seen this video, I think it's going to be on this side. This video, watch it and subscribe to the channel and get more stuff. There's plenty of content to watch for you. Have you seen The Last Jedi? It's really good.